the coalition continues to wrestle with its own identity. Let's bring in now former Liberal MP Jason Falinski. Jason, it's great to see you in here. Thank you for coming in.
It's nice to be let in here.
Yes. Well, I do actually want to start, though, with the news today in Victoria, and this is around Moira Deeming's case that she took the Liberal Party president to court, and this was to pretty much stop a meeting tonight to disendorse her as a Liberal candidate, so she couldn't run in November. What did you make about the overall situation, but also the ruling that came out of the court today?
Well, Moira's one of the more litigious members of Parliament in Australia, so I'll be careful what I say. The court ruling I find incredibly curious because injunctions are only meant to be provided where there is a harm that will be done that can't be undone. It's difficult to see in this instance where that would be the case. So Victoria is well known for having one of the most left-wing judiciaries in Australia. Whether that played a part in this ruling, I don't know. But it is a low standard to get an injunction, and she's fully within her rights to seek that. In terms of what's happened here, look, the Liberal Party is not going to get ahead until it stops talking to itself about itself and goes out there and starts talking to people. And unfortunately, all of the stuff around Moira Deeming going back 2-3 years has been an example of us not really talking to the people and not fighting for the values that they need to get ahead in their lives, and us being more concerned about ourselves. So this whole episode, and I think Jess Wilson's been doing just such an incredible job in Victoria, has really been unhelpful. And the Victorian people the people of Victoria need a change in government, and this isn't helping.
And I think that is what's frustrating about the Liberals being in the headlines for the wrong reasons, because Jess Wilson has been polling well, but she is the preferred Premier option when you look at Jacinta Allen, who's now one of the most unpopular premiers in Australian history. While we are talking polling, it's hard not to talk about the coalition and where they currently sit, sort of hovering around that 17% mark. What do you think it is? Why are the Liberals struggling so hard to cut through at the moment, especially at a time when the federal budget has been an absolute disaster? You would think this is the time that they would really be making their mark and having people coming back to them.
Because we're not reframing the debate. We're not standing up for things that actually matter to people. So politics is a debate between distribution and abundance. That is how you cut the pie up or how you grow the pie. And we are constantly and consistently getting into this debate about, I wouldn't cut the pie up that way. It's actually not the question. The answer is, how do we grow the pie so everyone can have more? And we're not cutting through because we're not making that argument with clarity, with consistency. We're not doing it with courage. And so we just fall back into distribution arguments. And on that front, the Labor Party's always going to be better at distribution. One Nation's always going to be better at grievance. And that's why we're not cutting through, and we're not. And, you know, if Australia ever needed policies around abundance, a party that would stand up for the future more than the past, it is right now, especially under this government. So the opportunity is huge, and we've just got to seize it.
Angus Taylor was asked about some of the things that need to change, and I'll play you his response.
There's no question that there's been a breach of trust over time, Jamie, between the coalition and the Australian people, and the breakups of the coalition obviously did not help. They hurt. And I heard that at the time. We need to be unified, we need to be stable, and most importantly, we need to demonstrate to Australians that we have a strong plan and a strong united team.
So obviously they definitely need that strong united team, and that has certainly been making headlines in the past week or so. But what is it that you think that they should be focusing on? What should their strategy be for the next 6 months?
Well, take all the tax well, it should be about abundance. It should be about your future, your hope, your optimism is being taken away from you by a government that is hopelessly conflicted between public sector unions, which you were talking about earlier today, industry super and class action lawyers. If you want a party that is actually going to stand up for you, for your family, for your community, then we're your only choice. If we're not doing that, then you get the sort of results that you're talking about. And Angus is absolutely right in what he says. However, that's the past, and we are the party of the future. And if we're not making those points, then that's problematic. And that's the opportunity. And it's never, as I said before, it's never been larger than it is now.
Well, one of those opportunities would certainly be around housing, because new figures are showing that house prices are falling, home loan applications are down, and borrowers are starting to turn to things like interest-only loans. But at what point does this become a political liability for Labor? Because at the moment they're dodging around in question time. They're not really ever answering anything that is thrown towards them. But at what point do they start to say, OK, this actually is a problem?
Yeah, and it's now. And people will increasingly feel that right now. What this budget did was it didn't just take out a couple of rungs in the ladder of opportunity that already were missing a couple of rungs, just took the entire ladder away. So when they say this will help young Australians get in the housing market, they are lying to you. Who this helps is industry super, who still have concessional tax arrangements. This helps class action lawyers who get even more regulations that they can pile on ordinary Australians who then have to pay for it. And it, of course, always seems to help the public sector unions who are their biggest donors. So all those problems put together, and we're all missing out. And that we need to be very clear in explaining that to people so they understand what is causing the problems that they're suffering at the moment. If we do that, which we can, I have very little doubt that a lot of people will support us because they see us as the best opportunity for getting ahead in life and for that ladder of opportunity to be put back.
I think that is one thing that Labor has copped a lot of criticism for, and in particular you look at Anthony Albanese that has utilised negative gearing, capital gains tax to build his own wealth. And then he's like, well, I'm just going to pull up that ladder to make sure that no one else has the same opportunities as what I had. And one thing that I find quite baffling is they're taxing things on like shares, which a lot of young people actually tend to use to start building their wealth to be able to get into the property market. Do you think there's an element of them potentially not quite understanding the sheer volume and nature of what they have done, the flow-on effect?
They totally understand what they've done, because what they've done is in some instances the effective tax rate on your share portfolio is 77%. But if you do it through an industry super fund run by their union mates, it's 10%. And so you can't buy a house, but their whole plan is to get industry super to fund a whole bunch of build to rent things. So you will literally be giving money to an industry super fund so you can rent a house or an apartment from them that you can't afford because they've got all your money. And they've got more money because their tax rate's 10%, but your effective tax rate is somewhere between 58 and 77%. Oh, they knew exactly what they were doing.
It seems like a bit of a mess. But Jason Falinski, I appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks for coming in. Well, one